Have you ever wondered if you could tell a nation's entire story, all its hopes, its ambitions, its future, in just a single image? Well, today, that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to deconstruct a visual blueprint, sort of like a recipe, to see how every single choice, from the colors to the symbols, crafts this really powerful message about a country on the move. So let me just ask you directly, how would you do it? Seriously, if you had to capture the whole story of a country in one single frame, what would you even show? It's a huge challenge, right? But it's exactly what people are trying to figure out every single day in our super crowded digital world. Okay, so this is what we're working with. It might look like just a simple text prompt, a recipe for a YouTube thumbnail, but I want you to think of it as a blueprint for an entire national story. We're going to pull this thing apart, piece by piece, to really understand the powerful message it's built to send. All right, first things first. Before we even get into what is being shown, we have to talk about how it's being shown. And that brings us to section 1, decoding the modern aesthetic. Because, in the world of online media, the style isn't just some fancy decoration. It's a massive part of the message itself. So the blueprint specifically asks for a modern YouTube style. What does that even mean? Well, it's a visual language, and it's built for one thing and one thing only: to make you stop scrolling and click. It uses these high-energy visuals and a super clear layout to just cut through all the noise. And choosing this style, that's the first message right there. It screams digital savvy and forward-thinking energy. And you can really break this style down into 2 key things. First, you've got the bright colors and high contrast. Now, that's not just to look pretty, it's engineered to literally pop off a crowded screen. And second, there's that 3D glossy look, which adds this feeling of quality, of professionalism. You put them together, and they're broadcasting optimism and modernity before you've even read a single word. Okay, so now that we've got the look and feel down, we can dig into the core content. Let's move on to section 2, symbols of Indian progress. Think of these as the tangible proof points, the evidence that anchors this whole optimistic story in something real. The blueprint calls out 3 key icons that really form the pillars of this whole narrative. You've got the ISRO rocket, the UPI logo, and an economy growth arrow. And believe me, each one of these has been chosen very, very deliberately to represent a specific part of India's story. First up, the ISRO rocket. This is a big one. It's such a powerful and almost universal symbol of ambition, right? It taps directly into this narrative of scientific achievement, of reaching for the stars, and of a nation really establishing itself as a major player in tech and space. It's all about the future. Next, we have the UPI logo. Now, this is absolutely crucial. See, while the rocket is about this grand, national-level ambition, the UPI logo grounds the entire story in the everyday reality for hundreds of millions of people. It's about a massive digital transformation, financial inclusion. It's about how tech is woven into daily life. It's a symbol of practical innovation you can actually feel. And finally, the economy growth arrow. This one is probably the simplest, most direct symbol of the 3. It's a visual shortcut. You don't need a translation for this one. Everybody everywhere gets it. Pointing up and to the right means progress, growth, prosperity. It's just a universally positive message about where the country's economy is headed. So, we've got the modern style, we've got our 3 core symbols, but how are they all framed to create one single cohesive story? Well, that brings us right to section 3, crafting the narrative. This is where we look at the elements that pull the whole thing together. The foundation, the stage for this entire image, is a glowing map of India. This immediately anchors all of those symbols to a very specific national identity. And that word glowing, that's not just for show. It adds a sense of energy, of pride, and importance to the whole picture. The final piece of the puzzle is the anchor, that clean, bold text that says India Current Affairs 2025. This text does 2 really critical jobs. First, it gives the whole thing a sense of clarity and authority. And second, it locks the entire visual into a specific, forward-looking context. This isn't just about what's happening today, it's about the direction the country is headed next year. Okay, we've pulled apart every single element, from the glossy finish to the bold text. But so what? Why does a single thumbnail like this even matter? Let's bring it all together in our final section, the takeaway. So let's just put all the pieces back together. When you lay it out like this, you can really see how each element builds a very specific message. That bright, glossy style, It's not just about looking cool, it's communicating optimism and modernity. The rocket and the UPI logo, together they tell a story of technological power, both the big aspirational kind and the practical, everyday kind. And when you slap that growth arrow on top of the glowing map, you get a crystal clear message of national prosperity. And that right there, that's the whole point. What we've just been looking at is the incredible power of visual shorthand. In our fast-paced world, nobody has time to read a long report. An image like this takes all these complex ideas, economic policy, technological innovation, national identity, and boils them down into one single, compelling, and instantly understandable story. Which leaves us with one final thought, a question for you. If you had to create this kind of visual shorthand for your country's future, what 3 symbols would you pick? What style would you use to tell that story? It's a really fascinating exercise, and what you choose, well, it reveals a lot about the stories we truly value. Thanks for diving in with me.